Hi guys, I have had a ton of problems getting Monday done. I have probably re-recorded this video no less than 8 times. So I just recorded it and I had another issue. So I'm just going to go ahead and go through what I just went over in the video. As you can see, the work on this one is completely done. So you need to keep in mind that I'm not doing this step by step with you. Rather, I am explaining how I got to these answers. So this problem I actually went over with all the blocks last week. But as I read this problem, it's telling me that this guy Philip, he's going on a 4,000 kilometer trip, and that we know that if the car is driving, it is consuming 6 liters of gas for every 100 kilometers, and that gas costs 150 per liter. We're going to look at, if he splits among his friends, how much is each going to cost. Now, first thing I did is, as I was writing, I made a total of 4 here. And the reason I did that is, as Philip is going with a 4,000 kilometer road trip with 3 friends. I put my total of 4 here because I know these questions are notorious to asking a person and his friends. You're having to total a couple things together, not just the number 3. So here I have to add 3 plus Philip to equal a total of 4. Now, first thing I wanted to do is figure out how much is it going to cost to drive 100 kilometers. So I know it takes 6 liters of gas to drive 100 kilometers. And if I know each of those liters costs $1.50, I'm going to have to multiply 6 times $1.50. And when I did that, I get a value of $9. So for $9, I can drive 100 kilometers. Okay. So again, that's just where I wrote here 6 liters for every 100 kilometers. And then so it's going to be $9 for every 100 kilometers. Next thing I did is I figured out how many 100 kilometer segments are there in a 4,000 kilometer road trip. And the answer to that is 40. And I got that number because I took the 40,000 kilometers and then I divided it up by 100. So how many of these hundreds fit in there? And I got an answer of 40. Now all you need to do is multiply 40 times 9, and that's going to give you a total value of 360. The important thing to remember is I have to actually divide that 360 by the 4 because Philip and his 3 friends are going to split that cost. So when I divide 360 by 4, it gives me a value of 90. Okay, for my next problem, okay, again, my explanation was probably very good after going through this so many times. But again, I'm trying to get this video out to you all to make sure that your work is right. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these 2 values. Okay, because I don't see any multiplication or division here. I don't see any parentheses, any exponents. So I just have addition and subtraction throughout this problem. So I'm going to work it left to right. When I look at these first 2, I know that they're different signs. If they're different signs, I subtract. And I take the value or the sign of the larger absolute value. So I went ahead and I set up the 12.5 and the 9.75. Making sure that I'm lining up the 2 decimals and that I add in the 0 here so that it makes my problem easy to solve. Okay, so you can add as many zeros to the right of a decimal as you want. As long as they're on the outside, you can add zeros forever and ever and ever. It does not change the value. When I did this, I got a value, subtracted this out, I got a value of 275. I knew that 275 needed to take the negative sign because when I look at these 2 values, 12.5 has a larger absolute value. It is negative, so 2.75 is going to be negative. Okay, now I have 2.75. I'm going to just drop down my next value, which is minus 3.7. I went ahead and to keep change here because both values are negative. Okay, so again, I've already written this in, but initially how I wrote it was negative 2.75 minus 3.7, and then I did keep changing the subtraction into addition and changing the 3.7 into a negative. Again, same sign. I'm going to add the 2 values, which I did right here. I got a value of 6.45 when I added, and I'm going to have to keep the negative sign because both of these are negative. Same sign, add, and keep the sign. Okay. Same here. This is another problem, except for instead of decimals, we're dealing with fractions. First thing I did was take it from writing this diagonally to making it this way where it's more vertical because it's easier for me at least to see what I'm doing. When I see 3, 4, and 6, I know that that has a common denominator of 12. So 3 goes into 12 4 times. 2 times 4 is 8. Next term, 4 to get to 12 is 3 times. So I'm going to take the 1 and multiply it by 3. And last but not least, 6 to get to 12 is times 2. So I need to multiply this 5 times 2, and that's going to be a negative 10. Now, first set of math right here, when I did this, 8/12 minus 3/12 gave me a value of 5/12. Then I just went over and I transferred the negative 10/12. I already know that my denominator is going to be 12 because those denominators aren't going to change. Because it was actually 5/12 minus 10/12, I did keep change. So that I'm actually taking a positive 5 and a negative 10, which equals a negative 5 over 12. Okay, last problem right here. I actually see a lot of people make an issue on this one because they forget to mark which fraction represents Percy's three free throws and which one marks Tariq's. So in this case, Percy has 7/12 and Tariq has 4/7. All I need to do for this is to, and I actually said there's a couple different ways to do this. You can convert these into decimals and then compare it that way. I just went ahead and kept it as a fraction because that just is what made sense to me. So I'm going to find a common denominator between 12 and 7, and that value is 84. To get 12 to 84, I had to multiply by 7. So 7 times 7 is 49. To get 7 to 84, I had to multiply by 12. 4 times 12 is 48. So 49 over 84 is greater than 48 over 84. So therefore, Percy is the one with the better free throw record. Now, important again here is this explain words. Explain word. In this, I should see you explaining in words how you got that solution. I know I have not done that here, but this is a personal explanation, so I want you just to put in your own words how you solved this and got that answer. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for your patience so much on Monday. Again, this has been a big challenge to me in the last week, so again, hopefully I won't have that problem with my technology going forward. Thanks.